Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, our beautiful country, and how we're going to fix this bad boy together. The content that I've got for you right now, I think the title is going to be something like The ATF's Horrible, No Good, Very Awful, Rotten Day. Because I've been sitting on this content of what I've been about to show you for like 3 or 4 days because so much stuff was popping up. You're going to love every second of it because they had to send an ATF, I'm so sorry about taking your FRT letter, which we have, and then Attorney General from Missouri, Andrew Bailey, backhands them on the Sean Ryan show. Guys, you're going to love every second of this, and if you believe in spreading that freedom, defeating tyranny, and honestly giving the ATF a backhand, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. Everything will be linked in the description box below. I bring receipts for every single thing, and thank you in advance for that consideration. All right, guys, so make sure we are almost to 10,000 followers on X. Jump over there, at Braden LOA, all the stuff, all the conversations, all the relationship building. It's amazing. It's a blast, and I cannot wait to share with you all the stuff we talk about over there. So jump on, at Braden LOA. Let's get into the goodness, because the ATF's horrible, no good, rotten, awful day. Oh, man. Oh, this was a day. All right, so the first thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to lead off with something that Attorney General Andrew Bailey from Missouri said on the Sean Ryan podcast. Then I'll show you the letter I'm referencing. This one, guys, this is a very, very solid argument for why the ATF probably shouldn't be around. Watch this.
What do you think of the ATF?
Get rid of it.
Do you think just get rid of the ATF?
Get rid of it.
Should people have fully auto weapons?
I do not believe that gun restrictions are legal under our Constitution. Let me explain why. The rights in the Constitution come from God, not man. The Constitution exists to protect us from the government, and the government is supposed to exist to protect our rights. Here we are as taxpayers funding the ATF, who has a consistent and documented pattern of violating our rights.
Wow.
It's that simple. The whole point is we have rights not to be infringed and paid for by us for someone else to come after us and break those rights. The idea is we put government in a nice little box where they don't come after our rights because they can't touch them. It's like hand caught in a cookie jar. No, bad. But what you're talking about here is something that needs to be said a lot more often. We pay through our tax dollars for an organization that defines and determines whatever they want around our gun rights that are ours because they're an executive bureaucracy and it's their mandate to interpret different laws that Congress passed. Guys, why do we not talk about that argument a lot more? We're paying for the very infringement that we suffer under. That's glorious. Let's keep going. Again, we're going to wrap all this in a second.
Wow. Suppressors, class 3 items, full auto, in a picture-perfect world.
The Founding Fathers owned cannons.
How does this look? Is there a background check?
These are policy decisions that have to be weighed in deliberative legislative bodies. But I think you got to look at the original understanding of the Second Amendment, and then you refract it through the prism of the passage and adoption of the 14th Amendment. The Bill of Rights originally only restricted the federal government, and it wasn't until after the Civil War that the 14th Amendment was passed. Those restrictions were also applied against the states. So what did the Second Amendment mean at the time of founding? And then what did it mean to the drafters and ratifiers of the 14th Amendment? And that's the interpretive methodology. That's how the United States Supreme Court has read the Second Amendment, which is great for freedom-loving and gun-owning Americans.
Is abolishing the ATF, is that on the table?
All right. You have to understand what he just laid out. And that's why this is so important, and this is why the beginning of the ATF's very bad, no good, horrible day. He lays out that the Second Amendment as originally written, and then after the Civil War, with the introduction of the 14th Amendment, which then applied to the states. Guys, when you look at this type of argument that is articulated in a very good way from someone who is in a position of authority, specifically the AG of Missouri, this is what we need more of. And then you reflect back on how the fact that we're paying for the organization that's actually doing the infringing and violating the Bill of Rights. Guys, that is a powerful argument. Now, one more thing that I want to hit on before we go to the next piece here. He said something very important, and the way he did this is key. Sean Ryan says, okay, well, in perfect world, what do you want? Andrew, or AG Bailey, said that's for a legislative body to figure out. And the reason that that's so important is because sometimes we can get bogged down in the this group wants this piece, this group wants this piece, this group doesn't like that piece. If you can stay on the realm of the ATF is fully functioning against the rights of the American population, let's fix that problem, and then we go through the legislative process to answer all the minutia micro questions. That is exceptionally well done because it avoids all the pitfalls of infighting inside the conversation. That is masterful. Now, let's go to the other part of the no good, horrible, awful day for the ATF where they had to write a letter and say sorry for taking your FRTs to an individual. Yeah, this is beautiful. I want to take a moment to congratulate National Gun Rights for forcing the ATF to send me a tail-tucked letter apologizing for overstepping with their reimagining of unchanged laws and sending pissy threat letters to me. Now, this is of course referencing the idea that they were sending threat letters from the ATF to individuals because they had FRTs, or force reset triggers. So basically, a trigger which they interpreted as a machine gun, so they're sending out meanie letters. That's effectively what we're dealing with. Now, this user is throwing out the idea that, hey, they just got this one where they're tucking their tail and they're turning around because they lost in court. Listen to this letter. You're going to like it. I don't know. I just feel like you're going to. So this is the remedial notice. Here we go. You are receiving this remedial notice because you previously received a warning notice. So this is the remedial notice to the warning notice, all the kind of notices. Entitled, quote, you may be in violation of federal law, subtle, from the ATF regarding force reset trigger devices, or more specifically, rare breed FRT-15s, or wide open triggers, purchased from Red Beard Treasures, rare breed triggers, or an authorized third-party vendor. The warning notice informs you that those FRTs have been classified by ATF as machine guns pursuant to the NFA. That factors into the whole reinterpreting and reimagining the definition thing. Yeah. Their manufacture was unlawful, and thus your possession was unlawful under the NFA and the Gun Control Act. The warning notice further instructed you to contact the local ATF office to coordinate the abandonment of any FRTs. Okay. On July 23rd, 2024, this is the part where they start to do the old U-turn, the United States District Court for the Northern District of Texas held in National Association for Gun Rights v. Garland that rare breed FRT-15s and WOTs are not machine guns under the NFA, and as such, their possession is not in violation of federal law. Wow, the difference 2 paragraphs can make. This letter officially notifies you of this judicial decision and is done in compliance with the court's order to mail remedial notices correcting ATF's previously mailed notice warning suspected FRT owners that possession of FRT-15s and WOTs or their components was illegal. Consequently, any duty to notify ATF of possession of FRT-15s and WOTs or their components has ceased. Please note, however, that some states independently prohibit the possession of FRTs or trigger activating devices. This notice does not address the legality of FRT-15s and WOTs under any state law. Office of Field Operations, Field Management, ATF. Okay, guys, could you imagine how hard that letter had to be to write for the bureaucrats at the ATF after they spent about 2 years defending a lawsuit saying that these things were absolutely machine guns when everyone knew they weren't? They were just literally pieces of metal. This is what's now going out. This speaks to that whole we're winning. Our arguments are getting more articulate, per the AG of Missouri. We are making the impact for our rights. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.